Welcome to session 4 of Marketing Step by Step. In this session, we're going to ask the question, what are your customers really buying and why? And we're going to delve deeper into the psychology of marketing. Most people aren't prospects because they're not motivated. Most people aren't prospects or prospective customers because they're not motivated. It's virtually impossible to sell products to people who have no motivation. You dramatically increase your chances of success if you're selling to motivated people who have a need. If your product or service solves all problems or a lot of different problems, and you're trying to sell it to everyone, then you're probably going to run into challenges. It's a very tough game selling things to people who are not motivated, and particularly who aren't motivated to the point where they have gotten up off their butt and they've gotten out and are looking for solutions. So as you're creating your marketing campaigns, what you want to do is you want to imagine who is a prospective customer that is motivated, that their desire or their want, their aspiration has gotten amped up to the point where they are now moving toward finding the outcome, the result, the solution that they want, or their fear, their frustration, or their pain has pushed them to, again, get up and get in the world to solve it. Don't consider unmotivated, random people to be prospective customers. Don't use the common but very flawed assumption everyone is a prospect. Because when you try to sell to people who aren't motivated, you find that you have to work very, very, very hard. And even then, it usually doesn't work. The professionals stay away from that. And instead what they do is they target motivated prospective customers. It's also important to remember that people don't buy products. They don't buy services. Instead, they buy results, benefits, and solutions. Now, most business owners think that they're selling a product or a service, but most customers think that they're buying a solution, a result, or the avoidance of pain. So what you're selling from a customer's perspective isn't just what you're selling. Even if they think that they're buying your widget or your magic pill or your service, and they think, well, I'm just buying this new car. That's what I'm buying. They're not. They're actually buying a solution to a problem, like they need to get to work reliably. They're buying a result, like having people look at them in their new car and admire them so that they'll be more attractive to the opposite sex, or that the people that they work with will want to give them a raise in status and responsibility, or maybe even the avoidance of pain because, well, they're afraid that they're going to get into an accident, so they buy a big car or a heavy car or a car that they think is really safe. Okay, so most customers think they're buying a solution. In some cases it's not conscious, but they're not buying products and services. So let's talk about features, advantages, benefits, results, solutions, and relief. So what's the difference between a feature, an advantage, and a benefit? Okay, if you've listened to any of my other trainings, you've heard me talk about this. In sales, they say there's a feature, there's an advantage, and there's a benefit. And the classic example is air conditioning in a car. Air conditioning is the feature. The advantage is what the feature does. So in this case, the air conditioning cools the air. And the benefit is what the customer experiences. So the benefit is that the customer can ride around on a hot day with the windows rolled up and they can feel comfortable. So that's the difference between a feature and an advantage and a benefit. Now, most people make the mistake of selling features. So a person walks into the car showroom, they're interested in a car. The salesperson says, "This car has air conditioning," rather than selling the benefit of how quickly it cools the air and how quickly you can be comfortable when you get into your car on a hot day. or how it cools down not just the air, but it also cools the seats, so you can feel cool all over very quickly as soon as you get in the car. This is not a trivial point. If you're selling features, which is what you do or the products that you offer, you're going to be completely missing the desires, the needs that your customer has. So how can we learn to think in results and not in features? A good question to ask yourself is simply, what is your result a solution to? And what is the relief your customer gets with the solution? So whatever you do, whatever you offer, delivers some type of an outcome or an end result to the other person. For example, if you help people lose weight, the result that they get after they go through your program is they lose 20 pounds of belly fat, let's just say, for example. That's the result. Now, what's the result a solution to? Right? Losing that 20 pounds of belly fat, we don't just want to lose it because we want to lose it. It's because it's a solution to a problem. And the problem is often something like, I don't feel attractive. I'm afraid I'm going to get a disease and die. I think that something might happen to me and I might need to get surgery and it'll create complications. So losing the 20 pounds, it's a result that someone wants, and you're going to do much better talking about this result than you are about your process of, I teach people how to lose weight and I've got a product that will teach you how to lose weight. Okay, that's about the product rather than the result, saying, go through my product and at the end, if you follow the steps, you will lose 20 pounds of belly fat. That's the result. But you become even more powerful when you talk about the solution, especially if you've identified what the solution is that your customers are seeking. So, for example, if someone wants to avoid getting diseases and dying prematurely, that's why they're losing the weight, and you say, go through this program, lose that 20 pounds of belly fat so you can avoid premature death, that's much, much more powerful. And then ultimately, when you go even past the solution to the level of relief, now you're becoming a master marketer. Okay, so not just the result, and not just what the result is a solution to, but the relief that your customer will get when they experience that solution. So right now, the customer who wants to lose 20 pounds of belly fat, they have something nagging them. It might be that they feel ugly and unattractive and they can't attract someone from the opposite sex, and it just bothers them and bothers them and bothers them, and they want relief from that. Or it might be that they worry about dying young and they don't want to die, so their mind bothers them over and over and over about that. Well, the relief is even more valuable than just the solution, because it's the motivation, the nagging that happens on the inside that's what someone wants to get rid of. Okay, it's the nagging, because again, they're not just trying to lose 20 pounds of belly fat, and they're not just trying to attract a member of the opposite sex or avoid dying early. What they're really trying to do is get rid of the nagging voice inside of them, or the bad feeling inside of them that says you're not doing the right thing, and if you don't stop this, you're going to die, or you need to get your butt in action and lose this weight so you can attract someone from the opposite sex. So, what is your result a solution to, and what is the relief your customer gets with the solution? And when you start thinking and communicating in these terms, that's when your marketing becomes much more powerful. Again, stop selling logic. Instead, offer results, solutions, and relief. Ultimately, customers don't care about you. They don't care about your product. They don't care about your quality or anything else. They may use these as the excuses for making a purchasing decision, but when customers do pay attention to these things, it's only to increase chances of getting results, solutions, and relief. Stop trying to logically convince. Instead, focus on results, solutions, and relief. The amazing thing is, if you just ask customers, they'll tell you what the results, solutions, and relief that they're seeking are. And then you can literally take these words and phrases and use them in your marketing. You can take the images that they're making in their mind and go and get yourself images in a stock photo website, like an iStock photo, and put them up in your banner ads and on your website. Okay, this is really not rocket science. It just requires you to have the tactics, the techniques, the skill, the understanding, and some experience doing it, and you can create very powerful marketing. As I mentioned here, customers don't care about you. They don't care about your product, your service, your quality, your business, all that kind of thing. When they pay attention to these things, it's only to increase the chances of getting the result they want, the solution they want, and the relief that they want. So if it doesn't connect the dots directly from where the customer is to the result they want, the solution they want, and the relief they want, leave it out. Don't tell people about you, and don't talk about how great your product is, or big up the quality and your super heavy duty reinforced nails that you use inside of the lumber that you're building the house with, or any of that stuff, unless it talks directly to a result, a solution, a relief that one of your customers has. So remember our three brains and our irrational decisions? The reason why we focus not only on logic, but instead on results, solutions, and relief is because people are driven by their motivational systems. And these systems are, again, based on ancient brain systems that drive us to survive, stay safe, find security, find love, express ourselves, and actualize. And in order to make this mental shift, you must practice it. We are so used to thinking from our own perspective that we don't adapt quickly to thinking like a customer. In order to make it natural and automatic to think like a customer, you must imagine that you are a customer. So start by forgetting about you and your product, then close your eyes and imagine that you're a customer. And I am serious about this. Okay? Even before you go out and you start asking customers what their fears and frustrations are and what their wants and aspirations are, you need to get into the mindset of putting yourself aside. The mental capability that Keats, the poet, called the negative capability, the ability to turn off that dialogue that's going inside of your head, turn off your self-interest, turn off all of your programming, and simulate what it's like to be another human being. And the more you practice this, the better you'll get at it, and the better you'll get at being able to talk from inside the head of the customer. Robert Collier, who wrote a famous book, the Robert Collier Letter Book, he said that marketing is entering into a conversation that the prospect is already having inside of their own mind. Let me say that again. Marketing is entering into a conversation that the prospect is already having inside of their own mind. It's not about starting a new conversation or pulling them into your conversation. It's about entering the conversation they're already having. So, how do you know if you've made the mental shift? Well, the way to know that you've made the mental shift to thinking like a customer is simple. When you say or write down customer needs, you speak in first person. You use phrases that start with I want and not phrases that start with my customer wants. You literally start communicating as a customer. So if you're in my Guru Mastermind program or one of my coaching programs or interacting with me in a coaching session or a live training, and I say, tell me about the fears and frustrations of your customer. If you say, well, my customer is a 30-year-old mom with 2 children, and her biggest fear is that her children are going to grow up and not get into the college that they want to get into. Okay, I know that you're doing a pretty good job because you know who your customer is, you understand where they're at in life, and you understand what they're, want to accomplish, what they want to move away from. But if instead you say, well, let me just shift into the voice of my customer, and then you say, right now I'm a 30-year-old mom and I have 2 children, ages 2 and 5, and as I'm doing my work all day and when I come home and interact with my children, all I can think about is, am I going to be able to get my kids into the college that I want to get them into? Because I know that that's such an important part of getting to the next level in life. Then I know you've made the shift when you communicate with me as your customer. Okay, that's how to know. Now, psychologically speaking, there are 3 important rules of thumb when targeting your audience. Okay? And targeting your audience is not about choosing who you want to market to. It's about choosing who you want to market to, who your product or service or the product or service you're going to make would be useful for. But more importantly, it's about getting inside the head of your target audience and making sure that there are people out there that are motivated to buy, that are out looking, and who don't have a lot of options so that what you're selling will be a good match for them. So, 3 rules of thumb when targeting your audience. First, look for customers who are motivated. When you're targeting your niche or your audience, you want to look for customers who are motivated. You want to find a segment of the market that has a high level of emotion built up about their fear, their frustration, or their want, or their aspiration. If they're not motivated, if they're not amped up emotionally, and if they're not already fired up and triggered to take action to find a solution, then they're probably not a good target audience. Number 2, look for customers who are looking for you. Look for customers who are looking for you. So not only are you looking for customers who are motivated, but you're looking for a target audience that has gotten so motivated that they have gotten up off their butts and started looking for a solution. You're not trying to find people who are not motivated to the point where they've started looking for a solution. You're trying to find an audience that is proactively out trying to find a solution to their imagined desire, their fantasy, their want, their aspiration, or who's out looking for a solution to their fear or their frustration or their problem, their anxiety to solve what it is that's nagging at them. So look for customers who are looking for you. It's one of the reasons why I like search engine marketing so much, because you can go out and test very quickly. And by definition, customers that are finding you on a search engine are searching. And then finally, look for customers who have few perceived options. Look for customers who have few perceived options. You're not looking for everyone. You're looking for customers who are motivated, they're out looking, and who can't find a solution to their exact problem. Now you might say, well, God, everyone has options. I didn't say options, I said perceived options. So I gave you an example earlier of a mom who has 2 young children who's thinking about their college. Well, she might be out looking for solutions on the internet or talking to people or watching television, trying to figure out how she's going to give her children the most advantage to get into a good college so they can become successful in life. What you want to do if you want to talk to this mom, if you want to create products and services, is you want to communicate to her that what you're doing is specifically designed for mothers of children that are the ages that her children are, who want to get into the specific type of college that she wants to get them into. And when she sees this, she'll realize this was literally made for me and made for my situation. A big mistake that I see a lot of marketers make, if I speak at programs or I'm invited as a guest, I often have people come up to me at the end and they say, oh, I've been looking for you all my life. I've created this product, or I have this service, or I do this coaching program, and now I just need to do marketing. If you could do some marketing for me, that would be great. And I say, well, how did you create your book, or how did you create your product? And they say, well, I just wrote down all of my wisdom in there, and now I want to find people who want to buy it because it can solve a lot of problems. And I say, well, did you first look at what people are looking for? Okay, did you find people who are motivated and ask them what they wanted? And they say, no, I just put everything in there. And I say, okay, well, that's a problem, because if you got everything in there, then it's not going to feel like it was made specifically for the customer who has a specific need and who's looking for a solution. And they say, well, that's okay. We can rename it, or we can just kind of, put a gloss coat on it and make it seem like it was made just for them. And I say, no, not exactly. That's not the way that it works. So you want to look for customers who are motivated, customers who are looking for you, and customers who have few perceived options. If you will overlay these 3 layers on whatever niche you're targeting, whatever audience you're targeting, and you will only go after, only create marketing for, only launch products and services when you have customers who are motivated, customers who are looking for a solution, and customers who have few perceived options, I think that you can lower that failure rate from the 80 to 96 to 99%, and you can increase it up to a success rate of 50, 80, 90 plus percent. Over the past 10 years or so now, I've launched several different businesses, dozens of products, and of all the products that I've created that we've launched, we still sell almost all of them. Almost all of them were successes. Not all of them. We've had a couple of failures in there, but almost all of them were successes. How did I do this in an environment where most products fail, most businesses fail? I did it because I used the kind of thinking that I'm teaching you right here, and I used it as I was learning all of these systems, used it to target audiences that had lots of need, lots of motivation, were out looking for solutions, had few options, and I created products that, in some cases, literally invented niches. So now let's do an exercise. Looking for customers who are already looking for you. Okay, so take out your exercise that says look for customers who are already looking for you. Most people aren't looking for the result, benefit, or solution that you're offering in your product or service. In order to succeed in marketing, it's important to identify that segment or subgroup of people who have realized that they have a challenge, are emotionally motivated to find a solution, and who are proactively looking for you. Use this 3-question test to make sure that your marketing appeal has a high probability of success before investing money and time testing it. Also use this when targeting a niche or creating a product. First question, is my prospective customer emotionally driven to find a solution, solve a problem, or get a specific benefit that I offer? Okay, are they emotionally driven, irrationally driven? Are they triggered to go find a solution? Number 2, is my prospective customer so motivated that they've begun proactively seeking to solve their challenges? Is my prospective customer so motivated that they've begun proactively seeking to solve their challenge? In other words, have they gotten out and they're now doing research? They're trying to find a solution. And then finally, does my prospective customer have few or no perceived options for the specific challenge that they're trying to solve? So does my prospective customer have few or no perceived options? You want to use this 3-question test to sculpt and mold your marketing, your products, your services, and even your niches and your businesses until you've got something that gives you 3 yeses. And once you've got something that gives you 3 yeses, then you know that you have a much higher probability of success. So complete this exercise. Start looking for customers who are already looking for you, and I'll see you in the next session of Marketing Step by Step.